Tonight, I'm talking about the car repossession crisis that we have right now in the US. Right now, there are so many people upside down in their car notes because of these loans that they're able to get. It's crazy. So tonight we're talking about car repossessions that are skyrocketing. We're talking about how people are upside down in their cars, in their car notes, and what you can do about it. And of course, because it wouldn't be the Common Sense Show if I didn't tie in some financial or business information with like TikTok videos and videos about people who did it. So tonight I'm going to do that as well. So what I want to do is I want to just set the stage with the article that talks about this. I want to go into some of the people who are having a tough time right now and talk about maybe what we can do about it, give some suggestions, and then go from there. All right. So let's get cracking. The amount that's owed on upside down car loans hits a record. On average, consumers owed $6,838 on upside down auto loans, which is an all-time high.
I don't like where this is going.
Worse yet, some 1 in 4, so 25%, with negative equity owed more than $10,000 on their loans when they're trading their car or truck for a new set of wheels. And 8.5% of vehicle owners with negative equity owed $15,000 or more in the fourth quarter of last year. That is a staggering and insane number.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
How those with auto loans can have 10, 15,000 or more in auto loans. Like 1 in 4 is crazy. It is absolutely nuts. Imagine having a loan for a car, and that loan for a car that car itself is like 5 years old. And you have like 10 or 15, statistically 25% of people who have these car loans are upside down at least 10 grand, and almost 10% are upside down more than 15. Imagine having like a 5 or 6 year old car and you're upside down in the car.
Emotional, damn it.
I believe if you can, you should pay for the car in cash. Most people can't, which is why they finance it. And I get it. It's life. Life is crazy right now. People are fighting over eggs. Someone just stole like a carton of like 100 eggs out of a restaurant the other day.
This video showing the brazen robbery of a cafe in Western Seattle by so-called breakfast bandits making off with 3 cases of eggs.
I really think they planned ahead. This can't be like, let's rob the eggs.
I mean, it's nuts out there, especially if you're middle class. And so we all have reasons to worry. But if you can, pay for that car in cash, that will make things a lot better. So why are borrowers running into trouble? The article goes on to say that many consumers might not realize interest being paid on a car loan is typically front-loaded, meaning your monthly payments in the first few years of a car have the highest amount of interest, according to Ivan Drury, director of insights at Edmunds. Your monthly car payment in those initial years aren't doing as much as you might imagine when it comes to bringing down the principal loan balance. Unless it's 0%, then most of the interest is being paid up front. And you can tell this. You can tell that most of your payments that you're making on your car loan are going to interest, not just because the article says it, but if you were to go log into the financial back end of whatever finance company that you're using to borrow money, if you have a car loan right now, and you were to look at your payments and how they track and how much money they take off of from your principal balance, it's very small. And I think that there was a law that was passed that required them to tell you how much of your payment went to interest and how much of your payment goes to principal. So that you should be able to see that pretty clearly. But once you get past the interest payments after the first couple years. Imagine that. Then you start to see dollar for dollar that principal amount come down when you're paying your car loan because you paid the interest, first. If you bought your used car between the last 3 to 4 years, you probably, unless you put down a large percentage, you might have negative equity because there is a depreciation rate of the cars generally speaking. So any piece of equipment that you have is going to depreciate at normally a steady rate. Unless you're driving a British car, then it's going to really dip. It's going to fall off a cliff.
I was acting. Or was I?
Until they continue to improve their electrical systems, but that's a whole nother conversation for another podcast. But anyways, so depreciation is going to go down, but if you had overpaid for a used car and then the car market downturns and depresses the value of the cars even faster, then you could be up a creek, right, without a paddle. Consumers don't have much breathing room because they didn't put down significantly more money when they bought a new car or truck in 21 or 22. And Drury said that consumers took out lengthy car loan terms where you often don't pay down your principal quickly. You're not giving yourself that breathing room. Sometimes, he said, drivers can need to trade in their car to buy another car or a truck much sooner than they had planned. Now, what's interesting to me is that I heard that car companies are doing these 10-year loans now. Like some car companies, they're going up to 10 years, depending. I'm assuming it depends on the value of the car. If the car holds significant value, maybe like a high-end Mercedes, maybe S-Class, maybe a Maybach, maybe they're willing to finance those things for 10 years because they can be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, or other luxury car models where they hold their value pretty good. I want you to see what kind of cars are getting repossessed right now. Like there are some serious luxury cars getting repossessed. There's this gentleman on TikTok. I think he's a wholesaler, a car wholesaler. And so he buys these cars wholesale at auction. And he has this video where he's kind of showing like exactly what cars are getting repossessed right now. So let's take a look.
Y'all need to stop buying cars that you can't afford. I mean, look at some of these repos that I found at auction today. Repo with temp tags. This thing is a 2024. Look, 2024 BMW Financial. So I'm not making this up. Dude didn't even get to finish his drink and take his Walmart bag. Look at this thing. How many miles are on it, I wonder? Let's see. It's got 218 miles. What the hell is going on, bro? Another repo with a temp tag. So people cannot afford these cars for over a month. This is a 2023 iX. Look at this thing. It is for electric. Look at that. It looks like it might have been a voluntary because they gave him the 2 keys. Some people do, realize they can't afford the car, so they take it to the dealer and tell him, hey, here's the car. I can't do this anymore. And look at this. It is for electric, so y'all probably can't hear anything. But look at the panoramic sunroof. This thing is sick. Another repo with a temp tag. Look at this. This is a 2018 M550. But it looks like when they were repoing this car, they actually messed up big time. Because look at the front. They messed up big time. Look at the inside. That's crazy. Of course, 1 key. It's not in bad condition for a repo. But let's see if it will start. It does start. It's actually pretty good. As y'all can see, you see that? They messed up on the front end. Every day there's new BMW repos at the auction. I'm gonna be coming here daily to show you guys the new ones once they get here. So follow me if you want to see more of these crazy cars.
I mean, they're repoing like these M's, which is wild. It's wild to me that these cars are like 24s with 200 miles on them with temporary tags, and they're getting repossessed because people have gotten themselves upside down from day one.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Like, what is your thought process if you go buy a car, you know what your finances are. If you have a theory on this, I'd love to hear in the comments what your theory is. Why people decide to get cars that are like way too crazy expensive. I don't mind getting a 3-year-old luxury car myself, because the way the cars look now, they look fantastic. Even if they're 3 years old, they look brand new. And typically the design style for most cars changes every like 3 years or so. I mean, they do some small modifications to the design with some luxury cars. And usually those designs are like maybe just slightly altered headlights or slightly altered tail lights. But generally speaking, they keep the design model for at least 3 years in a car model in later generations. And so you can't tell, like if you get in a car within that three-year time block, you can't tell like maybe like a modern day, current day version and like one that's two or 3 years ago. But you can get it for a fraction of the price. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of crazy. NBC did something interesting on repossessions and these car loans, these auto loans the other day.
Detroit area mom Dawn Hurley's daily lifeline hangs by a thread.
How many days a week do you need this car?
7.5.
Every day. Every day and then some.
Yes.
Yeah.
After months unemployed during the pandemic, Hurley, who drives her kids to school each day, then travels for her new job in pharmacy operations, is $1,000 behind on car payments and on the list to have her car repossessed.
Have you had to choose between car payments and other bills?
Absolutely. I've had to choose to have my rent late.
All the while knowing she could wake up any morning to find her car gone.
Have you lost sleep over this?
Oh, of course.
That nightmare, a reality for a surging number of families nationwide. After tumbling at the start of the pandemic, the rate of American borrowers dubbed severely delinquent, or at least 60 days overdue on their car payments, is up nearly 18% from a year ago. That same rate for subprime borrowers up 40% in the last 2 years. Repo agencies say the impact is obvious.
The number of cars referred to you by the banks to get repossessed has tripled?
Correct. It's all about inflation. You know, the price of fuel, price of food, and a lot of the customers can't keep up with their car payment and feed their family.
Especially given climbing car prices. The average monthly new vehicle payment hitting an all-time high of $730, many boosted by rising interest rates.
So there you have it. I mean, I get it. The economy is not great for everyone, hasn't been great for some time, and people are struggling to make ends meet. And certainly if you can't get to work in a car, especially if you live in an area of the country that's really rural and you need to actually drive everywhere, then having a car, it becomes an imperative instead of a luxury or a nice to have in other places. And if you have kids, it compounds it even more because they have to get to school, you have to get to work, you may not be near a bus stop. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there. So, you know, all I know is all that's well and good, but I beg of you, don't get caught up in bigger car notes than you can afford. And there's just like this trend going around on TikTok where these people are like, they go around and they ask their coworkers what their car notes are. I don't know if it's all like, but in a dealership usually. And so some of the car notes that they talk about are like $700, $800, $900. I've seen $1,400. And then I remember watching a video where they were asking the coworkers like what the biggest car note they ever seen was, and they were like, "Oh, the biggest car note I've ever seen was," one guy said like $2,700. That is crazy.
Amanda, what kind of car do you drive and what's your car payment?
I drive a 2021 Mercedes AMG GLB and my car payment is $810.
Be smart about your money, man. Take your money and use it to invest in a business, so that you can take your business to the next level. Until next time, if you don't go about doing your business, you're going to be doing the business of someone else. Careful with your car loans. All right. I'm Micah and I'm out of here. Peace.